It's June, the middle of the dry season in North Australia, and Malcolm Douglas is off to the Northern Territory to collect 2 big crocodiles. After a 15-hour drive, he arrives at Coolabah Crocodile Farm, run by his mate Bluey Pugh. Bluey has caught 2 problem animals, and he's selling them.
Hey! How you going, Malcolm? Oh, are you having a good time? How things? Not too bad at all.
You got 2 crocs here for me, Blue.
Yeah.
And where are they from?
One's from Sandy Island, down towards the mouth of the Victoria River, and this bloke here, his closest one, we got him at the thermal pools out behind Scott Creek Station.
Well, what was the one at Sandy Island doing?
Oh, killing a lot of cattle. The manager complained and we've been forced to go and get him.
What about the fishermen? Any of the fishermen from Timber Creek?
Yeah, a lot of sports fishermen. He's becoming very cheeky.
Was he?
Yeah.
And what about the one up at the Flora River? That's right up towards Darwin, isn't it?
No, it junctions with the Catherine River, not too far from Catherine. There was a possibility he could have swam up into the Catherine River.
And right up into the township of Catherine?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there was a danger of that, plus they watered a lot of cattle there. A lot of sports fishermen are starting to move into those areas. So.
Are they quiet or real mean, these crocs?
Well, this one out of the Flora, because he was out of them hot thermal pools, he is quite active.
Yeah.
The other ones are just plain sneaky.
Just plain sneaky?
Yeah.
Well, we better rope him up and get going, eh?
Yeah, sooner the better.
I want to be in Broome by about, before tomorrow night anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it's about a 20-hour run from here.
Not wrong.
Before entering the enclosure, Bluey and Malcolm check their weapons. Catching big crocs is a dangerous business. There's little conversation. Both men have handled many crocs and know exactly what to do. First up, the top jaw must be roped. From here on, this croc is called Muddy. A crocodile is dangerous until both jaws are secured. The men work well away from the head using hooks to adjust the ropes. Muddy's been given a large dose of tranquilizer, and it's beginning to take effect. Efficient capture techniques have been developed only in the past few years. Since the protection of the species, their numbers have increased, and there's a demand for breeding stock. Each croc's strapped to a rigid board. This is a safe way to transport the animals over long distances. A blindfold will help keep him quiet on the drive back to Broome.
Put another one on him.
The second crocodile is particularly savage. All's well until it turns on Bluey and he beats a hasty retreat. Experienced handlers can immobilise a big croc without endangering their own lives. But for someone who doesn't understand crocs, it's a very dangerous operation.
Well, that wasn't too bad today, Bluey.
Yeah, I reckon not too bad.
What about that story you were telling me last time when you went over that fence with the tourists, catch that croc?
Well, that's the biggest croc there now. When we first got him, we only had him about a week, and a tourist bus came in here, and he was still pretty active after coming out of the rivers. There wasn't much to see around other than the smaller crocs, so I thought, I'd just jump in the pen and give them a bit of a show, you know. And they all climbed out of the bus with cameras and light meters, and, you know. I jumped in there and I humbugged the crocodile with a stick, and he roared out the window and tried to bite out of the water and tried to bite me, and I jumped back and I straight up and over the fence, and on the way over I split my strides from my waistband to my belly button, and all the crown jewels fell out. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know whether they're more frightened of a naked man running around than they were of the crocodile.
And did you lose anything?
Not myself, no.
I tell you what, have those tourists come back again?
Have they? No.
Not for another floor show?
No. I've had offers though.
Malcolm travels through the night to reach Broome in the cool of the morning. Before release, each crocodile gets a good jab of penicillin. Some volunteers from the surf club over the road lend a hand. Releasing a big croc can be more dangerous than catching one. Handlers must work well away from the head. When there are no problems, the rope slips off and the crocodile makes straight for the water.
I've just come back from the airport and I'm very excited because I've got some really great little animals right in this box, and I want to show them to you before I put them away in the pen. Get out of it, Bun. I'll just open them up. And they've already been checked at the airport, so we've got a fairly loose lid. Righto, now, have a look at that. Isn't that fantastic? 10 of them. These have just come over from Sydney. Now, they're American alligators. They're from the bottom end of, where are you, mate? The bottom end of the United States of America, from Louisiana and Florida. And that's the true American alligator. They're very different to our saltwater crocodile and our freshwater crocodile. They're very quiet, lovely to handle. I guess if you like reptiles, they're the closest thing that you have to really making them a pet. See, they've got no aggression, no sign of biting. They're just wonderful creatures. And these were bred over at the Gosford Reptile Park. And under special licence, we brought them over here to Broome. And, oh, they're just great. And what I want to do is show you the difference. Here's one running away here. The difference between our saltwater crocodile and our freshwater crocodile and the American alligator. So I'll just pop them back in the box and I'll go and get you a salty and a freshwater croc. There we are, guys. In this little tray, I've got a small saltwater crocodile and a freshwater croc. These are the two species that you normally find in Australia. The freshwater ones are very, very aggressive when they're young and very fast. Just try it. Cheeky. Come on. He's all ready to have a go at me. He's fast, isn't he? He nearly got me then. Oh, get out of it. Hey, come here. Righto. There he is. Now he's going to whinge and grizzle. That's a little salty. Now, we really shouldn't call them saltwater crocs because you find the majority of them in freshwater. We always call them salties because we also have the freshwater one, which is only found in Australia. The normal name for these are the Indo-Pacific crocodile because they live in the Indian Pacific Ocean, or the estuarine crocodile. They live in the estuaries of rivers and swamps, so you can find them in saltwater, brackish water and freshwater. So just because it's called by the common name of saltwater croc, don't think that it's only found in salt water. There are a number of differences, but the main difference, I'll just get his jaws closed, is the very long head of the freshwater croc. He's basically a fish eater. He eats mammals and insects and birds and things, but he's basically a fish eater. Whereas this one is more a grabber and a roller, so he's got a wider head. Now if I just put them together, even though they're very young, you can see that the one on my right here has got the very long thin nose, and this one has got the wider nose, and that's basically the difference. There's a lot of other differences too, but the bigger they get, the wider the head of the salty and the longer the head of the freshie. Now if I can just hold these together without getting my fingers nipped, I'll get out the alligator and you'll see how different they are. Just got them here. Here we are. Now this is the American alligator. This one's quite a bit smaller, but it's a very different head. It's a very flat head. The teeth are inside the jaws and very wide, broad snout. So we've got the alligator, we've got the Australian freshwater croc, and the Indo-Pacific or the estuarine crocodile.
In the wild, freshwater crocodiles are usually timid, but in captivity, they're vicious. The young freshie lunging at Malcolm is 2 years old. The difference between crocodiles and alligators can be clearly seen. The fourth tooth on a crocodile's lower jaw locates into a groove outside the top jaw, but an alligator's fourth tooth on the lower jaw fits inside the upper jaw. This gives the alligator a friendly appearance.
Under this hide board, I've got the youngest of the saltwater crocs. So I put these alligators with these salties, these young hatchlings. These are only about 4 weeks old. These are about 7 weeks old, so they'll be quite compatible, quite happy together. If I just lift this, you can have a look at all these young saltwater crocs. See how they all pile up when they're young? That's a way of security. They do that in the wild. They do it in captivity because it looks like one big mass. And of course it's the old theory that the individual on the outside will get grabbed by a predator, but most of them will stay there. See, they're all asleep. Get my hand in here. Show you. What we have to do is every few weeks we have to grade them out because the ones that are getting bigger and growing faster will dominate the food bowl. So we take out the small ones. Like the smaller ones, these will be moved out next week.
Within a year or two, the alligator's distinctive colouring will fade to a dull grey. Malcolm has a licence to remove some crocodiles from the Fraser River at the bottom of King Sound. So he loads up his Toyota and trailer and begins a 2-week ordeal, working on compass bearings to get through the scrub onto the mud flats surrounding the river. Along the way, he camps on Roebuck Plains Station and meets up with Pat, the boreman. Pat used to work on Yeeder Station near the Fraser, and Malcolm's keen to know if he's ever reached the river by vehicle.
Have you ever actually been right out on that big clay pan and down onto that mangrove area?
No, not right up to it, no.
Yeah.
Out as far as Ballura, and then that's about it.
I never met anyone who's been out there. They all tell me
No,
it's
it's only
impossible. Eh?
It's only you that's going out there.
They reckon old Helmet, you know old Helmet, the old
yeah,
pensioner down on the Fitzroy, they reckon he's been out there.
Yeah,
Pensioned a few barramundi and over the years.
Yeah, they go out there fishing, but sort of it's a bit hard. You can't really muster anything out there, so we don't go out there.
Yeah. What's happening here?
We're mustering in the morning.
Yeah, what, tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've got all our boat steers that'll be going on the
what,
ship.
big chopper muster?
Yeah, we'll have two helicopters.
We'll hang around.
Yeah.
Hang around tonight and have a look.
Yeah.
You won't mind, eh?
No, I don't think so.
No, that'll be great.
Be no drama at all.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah. Well, we'll let you go and
see
you in the morning, eh?
Yeah. Right and early.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Malcolm's trip to the Fraser is delayed so he can marvel at the skill of the helicopter pilots. Helicopter mustering has revolutionised the industry. Machines can accomplish in a few hours what stockmen on horseback used to take days to achieve. Flying like this requires extraordinary skill and attracts the best pilots in the country. By mid-morning, the choppers have gone, the cattle have settled, and they're walked slowly to the stockyards. There's a brief hold-up for the round Australia travellers while the mob crosses highway number 1. "150 kilometres north from Broome, Malcolm leaves the main road and drives along the sandy banks of the Fitzroy to the home of an old bushie who did get through to the Fraser River many years ago.
Long time no see.
Long time no here.
How are you, mate? I'm trying to get into that Fraser River.
Helmut was a fighter pilot in the Luftwaffe. He survived the Second World War and ended up camped here on the Fitzroy River floodplain in 1956. Before retiring, he was a fisherman for 25 years, notorious for his illegal catches of barramundi. He bartered the fish for supplies from passing tourists.
Now, are you still doing any illegal fishing?
No.
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 Yeah, I mean, we all know that you used to put the odd net in.
Oh, yeah. I got very religious in that way. See, I don't do it no more.
I notice some of your cars now are looking a little bit second-hand, aren't they?
Oh, they're pensioned up.
Pension off, yeah. The one behind us is the old Fiat, and this is a Falcon, and the Volkswagen. Are they up for sale? Yeah? You can.
If people don't want me to pay them too much to take them away, they can come and have it.
They tell me you had a little bit of bad luck here with your house on the last floods. Is that right?
Yeah.
With the foundations?
Oh, yeah, that all been away. See, I only rebuilt that again this year, and that wall. That side of the camp is all bucket, see?
Yeah.
I had to build a new bear shed and...
And what about the two-story section? You don't know, do you? But you're famous from Perth to Darwin. Everyone wants to come in and see your two-story house. What do you do when it floods here?
I just go up there.
Go and camp up on the top?
Yeah.
And what do your ducks do?
Oh, the ducks, they can swim around in the backwater and the chooks, I chuck them up on that bear shit again.
Yeah.
I had 2 bitches here, and one wet was about only that high. And the 2 bitches had pups. I had 13 dogs up there running around the bear shit.
This is where the floods nearly knocked the two-story down, is it?
Quite that far, but the front got a lot in, see?
What, this wall went in with the water? Yeah.
And under wash, you see?
You're not wrong.
And inside the concrete is all broken up halfway in, see?
Yeah. What about on the corner here?
But under wash that can, see, and dropped in then.
Half the wall's gone.
Oh, I took that away. I want to kill him, see?
Didn't you have a water tank here? There, but it's gone.
It's 300 feet down, 300 yards down.
300 yards down the river.
Helmut shows Malcolm a massive log lying only metres from the front wall, dumped there by the wet season floods.
Did you see this log coming down the river?
I've been standing up there.
Up on the roof, and you saw it coming. Weren't you worried?
No, but it's no good. He comes all the same.
All the logs? Yeah. But the average person, you've got to admit, would be a little bit worried if a log this size floated down the river and came through the front door.
It's like, it just comes.
It just comes, yeah. Yeah, all right, mate.
It's handy when you've got the dinghy there, you know, so you can bugger off if it takes all the way.
Jump in the dinghy and bugger off. Oh, Bundy. Come on, pick it. Now we Oh! Cat fight. I forgot about the cat. I got the dog. Come around. Oh.
Helmut's half-feral ginger Tom won't have dogs in the kitchen.
This is actually hurting. You got to be careful because they scratch their poop.
Right.
You know. And one here. That was you, eh?
Helmut explains that he went out to the Fraser River years ago on a motorbike, but he doubts that a four-wheel drive would make it across the flats. So Malcolm moves on to Yeeda Station, where a helicopter musters in full swing. A quick yarn with the pilot, and a flight over the Fraser is organised. They're soon skimming over kilometres of mudflats, and Malcolm realises that it will be a huge challenge getting to the river. Slicing through the middle of the flats is the mangrove-lined Fraser, perfect crocodile habitat. To reach the river, the men will have to cross treacherous mud. It's obvious why so few people have ever ventured out this far in a four-wheel drive. Early the following morning, they'll work off a compass bearing and drive through the bush towards the flats. The speargrass, still 2 metres high from the last wet, slows the vehicle to a walking pace. The only sign of life, an old man goanna. After several hours of bush bashing, they reach open country and spend the day skirting the edge of the flats. Mud can be deceptive, dusty hard on top, sticky clay beneath.
Well, this is a pretty nasty bog. We're trying to get around to that Fraser, as you know, and we've been mucking around out here on these clay pans all day, and I took a chance on this bit of dry creek bed here because it looked really dry to me on the top, but as soon as I got onto it, down I went. Now this is bottomless mud, and the diff is already down. We've got the huge trailer on behind, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. What I think I'll probably have to do is use a kangaroo jack, lift the trailer off, run the winch from the front with a snatch block, pull the trailer around, and then jack this one up and back it out. So I'll just see how that's all going to work. If it doesn't work, well, we're in real trouble.
Fortunately, there's a small melaleuca tree to one side, and they're able to attach a snatch block to the base and run the winch cable back to the trailer.
All right, okay.
They struggle to haul the heavy trailer round.
Well, we've run out of daylight, we've run out of steam, so we'll camp here for the night. First light, we'll get the bike off so we can do a wrecker on the bike, and that'll make the trailer a lot lighter, and we'll just carry on. But now, boil the billy and into the swag and have a good sleep.
By sunup, the men are back into it, dragging the trailer well clear of the Toyota. The wheels have to be lifted out of the mud so that a firm base can be made for the tyres. The men work all through the morning, lifting the vehicle time after time, jamming wood under the tyres and slowly moving backwards. The winch cable is run out under the Toyota through a snatch block and then back onto the vehicle. It's mid-afternoon before the Toyota finally breaks free from the mud.
Now that was a bog. That was a real bog because it was a 24-hour bog. It was this time yesterday that we got in here. We worked right up to sundown yesterday and all this morning. It's now about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's a 24-hour bog, and you don't want any bogs any worse than a 24-hour bog, I can tell you. Righto, we'll hook the trailer on and keep moving.
The mud flats are so vast, the far side disappears into a mirage, and it's impossible to get a true bearing on the river. Late in the afternoon, they set up a base camp on the edge of the flats and plan a reconnaissance run on the bike early in the morning.
Okay. Come on. Come on, get up. Good dog. Here.
The problem is that with so many mangrove-choked tributaries, it's difficult to find the one leading to the main river. Exploring around the small, muddy creeks, Malcolm comes to a higher, thicker line of mangroves. Two weeks out from Broome, he's finally found the Fraser. This river can also be reached by sea from King Sound, but there's too much gear for a boat trip, and Malcolm's carting it in overland. Well after sundown, he returns to camp. Now they can cross the flats with a degree of confidence. If the bike barely marks the surface, it's solid enough for the Toyota and trailer. To bog out here would be disastrous. Malcolm has a permit to capture a small number of crocodiles for research and for breeding. He's always wanted to trap the Fraser, where it winds through ideal crocodile country. After all the trouble trying to reach the river, it's a relatively easy task to set the traps on the high tide. The traps are left while Malcolm goes back to see how things are at the croc park. Even though it took so long to find a route into the Fraser, the return trip to Broome is easy, following markers they left across the flats and through the bush. Lazy old Santa does little in the dry season, except soak up the warm winter sun. Malcolm's keen to see how his young crocs are doing. This pen of fast growers has been selected for future breeders. An ideal breeder must also have a suitable scale pattern. A fine, even pattern is in high demand for exclusive leather goods. Some of Malcolm's young alligators have grown quickly and are out on public display.
The only thing that stops us from handling them now for the tourists is they get just so physically big. This one here is still quite okay to handle. If you take some of these other ones, they're just getting a little bit too big to hold. You see this? They're just, not that they want to bite you, they're just too heavy to hold up. See that? They just wiggle around and just get too big. But quite different to the saltwater croc, of course, and our freshies. They certainly won't bite you. They have a bit of a snap at you as they get older, but at the moment, all right, away you go. You're getting quite solid, but they're a great animal.
Malcolm returns to the Fraser with a larger dinghy, hoping to find a big croc in one of the traps.
Round one to the crocodiles. What happened here, we set the traps on a spring tide. That's when you've got a very big rush of tide in and out of the river. Right here at the bottom of King Sound is actually one of the highest tides in the world, and the tide as it's run out has picked my trap up, spun it over, dragged the anchor, and the trap has ended up here in the mangroves. The bait is gone and the gate is gone, so it's back to Broome. More bait, a new gate. I'll come back in a day or so and try and untangle this net and set the trap out here.
Trapping in the Fraser proves to be an arduous operation. Malcolm returns to the river many times, gradually understanding the huge rise and fall of the tide and the habits of the elusive Fraser River crocodiles. For only a few days each month, tidal movement is minimal and the traps work effectively. Today, Malcolm's in luck. The gate's down and there's a good-sized croc inside. It's a mature male, ideal for breeding. After months of frustration and disappointment, this is the only croc caught. Malcolm's concerned the number of crocodiles in this part of the Kimberley has decreased alarmingly over the last 27 years. Crocodiles have been protected in Western Australia since 1970, and their numbers should be increasing. Malcolm believes that there's still indiscriminate shooting going on. It's a long, slow trip upstream to the Toyota and trailer, across the now familiar mud flats, and back to Broome. Within months, the Fraser croc's on public display, and Malcolm's training him to show how high a crocodile can leap to attack.